Ready to get rid of your prospecting fears for good and never, ever be afraid to talk to somebody? That's exactly what we're going to cover in today's episode. Hey, what's up, my fearless friends? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to talk to you about something that troubles a lot of people. It bothers a lot of people. They are afraid to talk to people. And honestly, if you're involved in network marketing, if you're involved in selling, you can't be afraid to engage people in conversation. So what do people do instead? Most people, if they're afraid to prospect, if they're afraid to talk to people, and we'll get into that briefly, is what are they going to do? They're either going to do nothing, and that's certainly not going to grow their business, or number two, they're going to go hang out over on social media, which is fine, that's cool, but the reality is you have to have more than that, okay? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with prospecting on social media and building on social media. That's cool. I mean, you can reach a ton of people, people that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach. You can reach a larger amount of people. I mean, there's a lot of great things about it. But if and I've said this so many times, if your only game in town is you DMing people on social media and you can't actually have a conversation with a human being, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. You're not going to be able to last in this profession without being able to have conversations. You should be able to do exactly what I'm doing right now and put your face on a video, stare into a camera lens, and be able to have a conversation as well, considering the fact that video dominates the world today. I mean, pretty much everything that we're looking at on social media, if it's not an image, it is a video. So that's another thing. That's not the purpose of today's episode. We're going to talk about getting rid of prospecting fear. So first of all, it's like, why don't you pick up the phone and talk to somebody? And let me stop here for a second before we go any further on that. Pick up the phone, Falcone. Oh my gosh, you're so old school. The phone? Nobody uses the phone anymore. Dude, let me tell you something. People have phones on their bodies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Back in the day, you had to be home to answer your telephone. I mean, people, the numbers of people and the availability to reach people is better today than it ever has been in the history of any kind of selling. So let's just get out of the way. And this is a communication business. This is a connection business. This is a business where people are going to buy from you. They're going to do business with you because they like you, they feel good about you, they trust you. It's pretty hard to develop a high degree of trust by just messaging somebody back and forth on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, or wherever, and expect them to give your company $1,000 to sign up in your business, and then more importantly, give up a portion of their life to go pursue that business. You know, they want to know, hey, who's this person I'm doing business with? Can I trust them? Are they reliable? Can I count on them? Is this a person that I want to partner up with? And you can't really do that effectively by just DMing somebody back and forth. So, you know, the core reasons why people don't do it, and I'm not going to go into the whole in-depth analysis of why people, avoid prospecting, avoid engaging people in conversation, whether in person or on the phone or whatever, is because they're worried, right? They have this worry, and they're afraid that, oh my gosh, what's this person going to think of me? What if they're not my friend anymore? Especially when it comes to warm market recruiting, people are like really afraid to talk to their best bro, who would most likely be the first candidate they would go to, their very best BFF, their best friend, and say, hey man, I found this really cool business. Hey, maybe this is something we can do together, make some money, have some fun, have some free time. But then they don't do it because they're like, oh, what if I lose my friend? Or what if I screw up? Or all of the what ifs, right? And again, I don't have the time to get into all of the what ifs in this particular episode, but that's another important conversation to have. Perhaps we might have that next week. I don't know. But in my opinion, the easiest way to get rid of prospecting fear is to put yourself in the face of it. Now, I'm not saying call your number one toughest prospect, the one that I don't know, the one that you're mostly intimidated by, the one that scares you to death and makes you want to pee your pants every time you think about picking up the phone and calling that person. That's kind of like me if you're afraid of, speaking on a platform and you're like never done it before and you're scared to death. And I told you need to go speak in front of 10,000 people. That would be a pretty giant step. But talking in front of a couple people, talking in front of 5 people is pretty reasonable. So here's what I believe is and this is real world application. This isn't a fake application. Now, what you can do, and I would encourage you to do this, and this isn't the main reason for today's episode, but I do want to bring this up, is you taking the time to practice what you're going to say, role playing what you're going to say, do some dry runs, some rehearsals, if you will. Those are definitely powerful and will aid you and prepare you for when you actually engage somebody in conversation, because you've walked through it a handful of times, or many handfuls of times would be more ideal. So I do encourage you to do that, but that's not the number one thing. The number one thing, and some of you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but this is real world application, is calling leads. Okay, calling business opportunity seeker leads. Okay, now I built a lot of my business well over a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. For about an 11-year period of time, I built most of my business with purchase business opportunity seeker leads. Now, are they as prevalent today in the marketplace as they were back then? No, they're not, because of social media primarily. So, but here's the thing. These are people that have requested information, typically online, about making money from home, about starting their own home-based business or starting their own business. They've filled out some kind of form and said, "Hey, that's me. I want to make some money here." And then those leads are provided to you, the purchaser, from the lead company, and then you can reach out to those people via email, via text, via phone call, and find out if you guys make a good match and see where it goes. And look, let me also say this. I'm not saying that, hey, this is the number one way of recruiting. It most certainly is not. Do leads work? Yes, they do. In fact, I know a significant high-level top income earner who's been with his same company for, as long as I've known him, so for at least 25 years, who has made millions and millions of dollars in the business. He still works leads to this very day, purchase business opportunity seeker leads. And this guy's got mad, ridiculous skills. But he just he fills in the gaps with leads, and he's got a handful of people, or 50 people, or 100 people in his folder or whatever on his spreadsheet, and he can pick up the phone anytime and call those people. So even a guy like that is still doing it. So my point again is, I'm not the message today is not, hey, go buy leads. That's the number one way of recruiting. But here's what it is: when you purchase leads and you are afraid to prospect, when you're afraid to talk to people, what it will do for you is it puts you into a real world situation. It puts you into this scenario where it's not a fake call or a made up call, and it's not you calling your bro, your buddy, some other person on your warm market list, a colleague. It puts you in this situation where, like, hey, cool, I'm calling this person that I don't even know, and they don't know me at all. I'm just, they're them, I'm me, we've never met, we'll probably never meet, they're clear across the country. And so what it will do is it helps to take the intimidation factor down, because if you screw up, it doesn't even matter. I'm gonna give you a scenario. You pick up the phone and you're like super scared, and you're like, the guy answers, hello, hey, and then you hang up. Okay, you screwed up, you lost it, you lost your cool, but it doesn't matter, because you'll never see that guy again. You'll never hear from that guy again. So you can screw up in a real world application environment and not have those worries like, oh my gosh, this person's not going to be my friend. And by the way, honestly, my feeling is like, if I brought you a business and you're my bro and you're like, dude, I'm not going to be your friend anymore, we weren't friends. We just weren't friends. We were like fake friends, faux friends, because a real friend, honestly, they don't have to buy from you. They don't have to do business with you. But the least that they can do is go, hey man, I'll cheer you on and go for it, brother. That's what a real friend is. So if you lose a friend because you bring a network marketing opportunity to them, I don't really even think they're your real friend, to be quite frank. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So the cool thing is, again, going back to this, is, and you can buy them. Look, the other thing about it is you'll probably recruit people doing it. And again, I'm not saying leads is my number one way of recruiting. Everybody should be buying leads. But if you're scared, if you're hesitant, if you want to get into kind of a smooth groove of communicating with people and feel comfortable and in flow and confident and all those good things, and just, everything is, man, this is not hard. All it is a conversation. This is pretty awesome. And you get up in the morning, you're like, hey, I can't wait to go have another conversation with somebody about how I can help them change the quality and the direction of their life. Leads can help you do that. Leads can absolutely help you do that. I firmly believe that when it comes to verbal communication with the distributor and a potential prospect, the fastest, easiest way to get over that anxiety, that stress, that fear related to prospecting is talking to an actual real prospect that has requested information about making money from home. So it's not it's not a role play. It's not you talking in the mirror to yourself, which is fine too. It's good practice. But this is a real conversation, so you can handle curveballs and you can handle a real world scenario as it comes to you, which will even further prepare you for a real world scenario when you're calling, somebody else. And look, one of my favorite ways of recruiting, most of you guys know this, is talent scouting, going after, successful people, going after people that, if they grabbed a hold of your business, they would do well with it based on their past history of what they've done in their life and the types of work that they've done that have prepared themselves for what we do in network marketing, which is why I have an entire course around recruiting professionals. But I would never tell you, hey man, if you're afraid to talk to people on the phone, you should go bust in there and have conversations with professionals, because you will get blown out. If you're fearful and you're calling a higher level person, and you're like, hey, John, Todd Falcone, I'm giving you a call out of Bend, Oregon. Listen, I'm expanding my business into Dallas. I love working with people in the real estate community. I got a very simple, straight up question for you, and that is, hey, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing in the real estate business? And he goes, hey, well, what do you got? Why don't you cut to the chase and tell me what it is? Now, I can handle that. And an experienced person that has time under their belt can handle that. But somebody who's new, they're going to be like, they're going to choke. And so what we want to do is we want to put you in a situation to win and to not choke in, under pressure. We want you to, again, I'm talking to those of you that struggle with anxiety and fear related to picking up the phone, prospecting, and engaging people in conversations about a network marketing opportunity. Okay, that's who I'm talking to. Some of you guys, and by the way, if you're like, hey, that's not me, Falcone, that's cool. I guarantee you got somebody on your team that is struggling with it. And I've made myself very clear. In other words, I didn't get on this video and say, hey, go buy leads. That's the number one way of recruiting. Forget everything else. That's what you should be doing only. I never once said that. So you can feel comfortable going, hey, I can put this video in front of other people on my team and go, wait, this guy's got something. He's got a good point here, where it puts you in the situation where, hey, you can talk to real people about an opportunity that they've requested information about making money from home. These are actual real conversations, and get some of that time under your belt. Because again, the other thing I'll say lastly is this, and you don't see this, you don't see this at all. When I started on camera, okay, as soon as the light popped on, I was just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Now I have to be somebody different. Or, I've choked in front of camera in my early days. First time I got on stage, I did it. I was super nervous. First few times I was prospecting, first several months I was prospecting, I was scared to death, dry mouth, heart pounding. But here's the thing. You don't see that today because I have so much time under my belt, so much repetition of doing that activity over and over and over again for so long that you get good through the process. So again, if you're struggling with fear, and I know that there's a high percentage, I've worked with enough people over the years to know that there's a quite high percentage of people that are struggling and they just are scared to death. You picking up the phone and calling business opportunity seeker leads is the fastest and easiest way to get through the fear, to get through the anxiety, so you feel comfortable the next time you engage another person that you're connected with, and you're not going to have to worry about losing them as a friend or them judging you or whatever fears you might have, because you've worked through all of those fears. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys for being here today. If you're on my YouTube channel, what's up, YouTubers? If you're on my podcast, I appreciate you guys. All the details on this episode, other resources for you to help you be successful in a network marketing, direct selling business are right here. For this episode, it's toddfalcone.com/episode 261. That's TODDFALCONE.com/episode 261. We'll see you next time. Have an amazing day.